Hi, my name is Lowell Grisham. I am an Episcopal priest here in Fayetteville, and I happily serve a church that welcomes LGBT people. We have blessed relationships and had marriages among our gay congregation, and I have seen the holiness in the lives and in the relationships of our gay members and gay Christians who are my friends. And that's one of the reasons why I am for the ordinance that would prohibit discrimination in Fayetteville in the public square for those who are LGBT citizens. I was curious and went to a rally that the other side was having at University Baptist Church a couple of days ago because I have members of my congregation who are believers in the right of religious conscience and who I believe will probably vote against this ordinance, and I respect them, and I wanted to hear what the other side was saying so I could understand that more deeply. The stage was set beautifully. The foundation for that meeting was one that I could not disagree with. My friend H.D. McCarty, former pastor of UBC and the man who built that building, prayed three things, and three things I could say amen to. He said, first of all, to the gathered people there to oppose the resolution, that they should do so with no fear, that there should be no expression of fear because there's no reason to be afraid. Amen. And he said that they should act out of love, always loving their neighbor and always loving their gay neighbors. And he spoke of one of his neighbors that he's very fond of. And lastly, he said that they should speak in truth and be in truth. And I thought, what a great foundation for this meeting. And I was encouraged. And had the meeting continued in that way, well, I wouldn't be making this video, I don't think. And I know I wouldn't. I would have seen people who were agreeing to disagree with me on conscientious grounds that I think have a deep legitimacy. That's not how the meeting went. And by the time we got to the last speaker, who I understand was actually the leader of the group and the organizer of the opposition, it turned, to my mind, dark and ugly. Fear, extreme fear, irrational fear was his message. And it was a message that was proclaimed with such intensity that you could feel people getting wrapped into it and getting their emotions caught and their minds cut off. Love and truth just went out the window. He said that he could see the day, and he believed that this would lead to times when pastors would be forced against their own doctrine to perform marriages for gay people. That's just not true. He broke into almost tears speaking of Romanians living in communist Romania who, under pressure from the government, snitched on neighbors, and the neighbors were Christians and they disappeared, and now they feel so grieved. And then he spoke of how when Hitler was coming to power, the churches were silent. And he implied that that's what's going to happen to us. He played the Hitler card. Shameful. The people stood, they applauded, and they gave a lot of money. That bothers me. I think that those of us who are Christian need to approach this issue and this conversation loving our neighbor as ourselves. We need to listen to Jesus, who reached out to all people and especially loved those who were outcast in his own society. And he brought them into his fellowship and welcomed them to his table. I think we, those of us who are Christian, need to live and work for freedom, for love, and for compassion. And that's what this resolution is all about. It protects religious expression, and churches are exempted from anything that might interfere with their own doctrine. They can kick people out of their churches who are gay if that's their doctrine. They can certainly refuse to marry or bless. All of that is fine within the church walls. But once we get out into our secular society and people are in business, I'm a child of the 60s. I remember an integrated South. I remember the fears of the 1960s, and these are those same fears being expressed toward gay people. In 50 years, that group of people, those who are still alive, will be so embarrassed by that meeting, just as embarrassed as folks in 1965 who were at churches crying segregation forever are embarrassed in 2015. This is not the future. The future is equality and no discrimination against any of our neighbors. Thank you.